Picture of her. Wouldn't you, Sam?
Wouldn't I what?
Like a picture of Doris Townsend.
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, I wouldn't. I just...
You just what?
I just don't think I like any girls.
Not any?
No, Father.
Good, that's fine. Didn't I hear you using my typewriter upstairs just a few minutes ago?
Yes, Father.
What was it you were typing, dear?
Why, just something I was doing over. I typed it night before last, and it blew away yesterday. Then I did another last night, and that got lost today. Through an error.
I see. Homework, dear?
Why, in a way, you might say it was sort of homework.
I was talking with Nancy Adams' mother today. She says Nancy is writing to some boy out in a school in Arizona.
She is?
If I were you, I'd take a little interest.
Well, I'm not going to waste my time on her, Mother.
You'll never find a nicer girl.
Gee whiz, Father, I have other things to think about besides just girls. Gee whiz, I've got a lot of other things on my mind.
Where are you going, dear?
Just upstairs and do a little typing.
Sam.
Well?
Do you think we ought to come right out and forbid his writing any more letters to Doris Townsend?
Now, Alice, let's not make matters any worse than they are. It's much better to be subtle about it. You can't tell. He may be up in his room right this minute wondering whether Doris Townsend is worth it. That's the way a boy's mind operates.
Well, of course, dear. You know more about it than I do.
Oh, Butch, Ralph.
What do you have, Eleanor?
Butch, did you lose a letter?
No, why?
You didn't. Don't you go around with a girl over in Middletown by the name of Doris Townsend?
Sure, I take her out practically every weekend.
Well, I don't know how it got there, but I found this letter addressed to her in my coat pocket, and I thought it was probably yours.
Let's see it.
Here you are.
Well, listen, this isn't any kind of a joke, is it?
Oh, no.
My darling Doris. Say, what is this?
Who's it from, Butch? Who wrote it?
But getting back to Earth, I hope someday I can show you the Mississippi, which is 2,470 miles long, reaching at some points to a width of 4 miles.
What?
Hey, what I want to know is who wrote this. Where's the end? Have you ever noticed on a moonlight night how the clouds seem to stand still and the moon zooms along at a breathtaking pace? That's how I think of you. Oh, so that's who wrote it.
Who did write it?
Never mind. He isn't going to live long anyhow.
Well, poor Henry is certainly having a tough time getting the right letter to the wrong girl. And whether he ever will manage it is more than I know. But I do know, ladies and gentlemen, that if you'd like to get the right mealtime drink for your family, you really shouldn't miss all the grand things that Postum has to offer you. Believe me, you'll enjoy a good hot cup of Postum for the same reason millions enjoy it. Just because Postum tastes so downright good. Yes, when you pour yourself a steaming cup of Postum and add just a dash of cream and sugar to it, you have a drink that's so tempting in fragrance, so unusually delightful in flavor, that you keep wondering why you never thought of trying it before. Just don't expect Postum to taste like coffee, any more than you'd expect coffee to taste like tea. For naturally, the goodness of Postum is the goodness of a distinctive flavor. A flavor that puts the in Postum. So enjoy delicious hot Postum tomorrow, and be sure to make enough for the young folks to enjoy, too, because Postum is a drink for all the family, just as your family will be all for Postum. Now, getting back to the troubles of Henry Aldrich, in an attempt to make Nancy Adams jealous, Henry has typed several letters to another girl. But instead of mailing them, he has tried to leave them around where Nancy would find them. So far, however, he has been totally unsuccessful and has lost all of the letters he's written. The scene opens now in the typing room at Central High School.
Homer, have you any idea where the A would be on this typewriter?
Why can't you find it yourself?
Haven't you ever seen the typewriters in this classroom? The keys don't have any letters on them.
Well, what good are they then?
Oh, gee whiz.
Did you get an A?
It's a W. Homer, what word is there that begins with W that means the same thing?
As what?
As angel.
Why don't you just make it Winged Angel?
Winged? My winged angel?
Sure.
Where do you think the I would be?
Used to be around here somewhere. Are you making plenty of carbon copies this time, Henry?
Sure, look out. O-G.
Did you get an I?
An H. Now what am I going to do? I've got W-H.
Why don't you make it white-winged angel?
Yeah, that's nice. The only trouble is, Homer, if we don't find it this time, we're really stuck.
Hello, Sam.
Yes, Alice?
Sam, I'm sorry to call you away from the office, but I want you to come home right away.
What for?
Well, Doris Townsend's mother is here.
What's on her mind?
I can't tell you on the phone, dear, but the sooner you come home, the better. She's terribly upset.
Yes? I'll come over right away, Alice. But remember this. No matter what she says, the girl is probably just as much to blame as Henry is.
Homer, are you sure she finally found my letter?
Yes, Henry, I put it right in her lunchbox, right on top of her lemon pie.
Are you sure she didn't tear it up or anything?
Why should she? A letter written by you to another girl that you're calling a white-winged angel?
Well, it took me darn near a week to get it to her.
All you have to do now, Henry, is go home. By Monday, Nancy will be eating out of your hand.
By Monday?
Well, that's the way it works with my sister.
Henry.
Oh, gee whiz. Hello, Eleanor.
It's Nancy, Henry.
Oh,
Henry, I've been looking all over for you.
for me?
Hi, Nancy. Gee, do you look worried?
Well, in a way I am. I've got something here that belongs to Henry, and I'm quite sure he'd want it.
Something of mine?
Something of Henry's?
Yes, and I haven't the slightest idea how I got it. It's this letter you wrote to somebody.
Oh, yes.
But I didn't read it, Henry. I know you'll probably think I did, but I give you my word that I didn't do any more than just look at it to see whose it was.
You didn't? Why not?
Well, bye, Henry. I'm awfully glad I happened to find you.
Goodbye. Thanks very much for giving it back to me. That's a fine thing, Homer. That's a fine thing.
Well, what's she got against reading somebody else's mail?
After all, if all she cares about is that fellow in Arizona, why should I... There are other girls besides Nancy Adams.
Sure there are.
That's what I say. Sure there are. She isn't so wonderful.
Hiya, fellas.
Oh, hello, Willie.
Hello.
Miss Eggleston wanted me to give you your English paper.
You've got mine?
Sure, here, Henry. And boy, you better watch out if Butch Wells sees you.
Why should I worry about him?
But didn't you write a letter to his girl in Middletown?
Who, me?
Sure, to Doris Townsend. It's all over school.
Butch knows Doris Townsend?
Why not? She's so steady, isn't she?
Is that right?
And gee, he's the biggest guy in school, Henry.
Well, I'd like to see him start something.
Henry, how much did you get on your English?
C+.
C+.
Listen, Homer, how did Miss Eggleston get this?
What is it?
It's one of my darn letters to Doris Townsend.
How did you happen to hand that in?
She says, interesting, but why didn't you stick to original theme instead of dragging in the Mississippi?
Well, that's a fair enough criticism. You know, Henry, I'll bet your letters are lying around all over the school.
I'll say.
Henry, look out. Here comes Butch Welch.
Butch?
Hey, Henry.
Now, wait, Butch, it was all a mistake.
Mistake my eye. Come here.
Write him a letter, Henry.
All right, Aldrich.
Hey, Butch, let go of me.
What's the idea of trying to cut me out with Doris Townsend?
I didn't. You're twisting my arm.
Yeah?
Hey, Butch, let go of Henry.
Go sit down.
You make me. Gee whiz.
Butch!
You gonna keep away from my girl?
Now listen, Butch.
How do you like that?
Oh, gee whiz.
Now write her another letter and tell her what I did to you.
You want me to help you up, Henry?
Henry,
Is that you, Nancy?
what happened to you?
We're looking for something down here.
What was Butch Welch doing to Henry?
To me? Gee whiz, he wasn't doing anything.
Well, my goodness, Henry, your folks just phoned the main office and they said you're to come right home the very minute school's out.
I wonder what that could be about.
I don't see why you have to feel that way about it, Henry. After all, Butch is 3 times as big as you.
Did you brush the back of my coat, Homer?
Sure, your folks won't notice a thing.
Henry,
Yes, Mother, where are you?
I want you to come into the living room. Your father and I want to have a talk with you.
A talk with I, Mother?
Yes, Henry.
Has something gone wrong, Father?
How did you tear your coat pocket?
Oh, that? That?
Well, gee whiz.
Homer, dear, would you mind leaving the room?
You want me to go?
We do. Please go up to Henry's room until we're through.
Couldn't I wait out in the kitchen?
You could not. Please go upstairs.
Yes, Mrs. Aldrich. I'll wait up there.
Now then, Henry,
Yes, Father.
your mother wants to have a talk with you.
Sam, I think you're the one that should have a talk with him.
Aren't you the one Doris Townsend's mother talked to?
Doris Townsend's mother?
Yes, dear, she's been here.
That would be putting it mildly.
What?
Henry, Doris Townsend was never so upset in her life.
She's upset. She's upset.
Over the letters you've been writing her.
How did she get any of those?
What do you mean, how did she get any of them? Haven't you been writing her?
I've been... Look, Father.
Have you been writing her?
Yes, sir, I've been writing her, but I haven't been mailing them.
What have you been doing with them?
I've been losing them.
Henry, don't be absurd.
But I have, Mother.
If you didn't intend mailing them, why did you write them?
Because...
They were written to be read by someone, weren't they?
Yes, sir, but not by Doris Townsend.
Then by whom, dear?
Look, Mother, I know you won't believe it, but there are copies of my letter all over Central High School.
What do you mean by that?
Father, this English paper is a very good example.
You mean you failed in English?
No, I got a C+ for it.
Let me see it.
Now, Alice, don't let him evade the issue. We're talking about his letters.
But, Sam, this is a letter.
To Doris Townsend?
Yes, dear. That's what Henry's been trying to tell us. He wrote those letters for English. He never intended to mail any of them. Did you, dear?
Well, look, Mother.
Of course you didn't. It's as clear as day, Sam.
Well, why did Doris Townsend's mother have to get so upset over a composition?
That's exactly what I wonder. Sam, I'm going to the phone and tell her.
And give her my regards.
Hey, Henry.
Here's your composition, Henry.
Oh, am I interrupting a lecture?
You are not interrupting anything, Homer. Only, Henry, next time see to it that you get more than a C+.
Yes, Father.
Henry, you know that letter Nancy handed back to you?
Yeah.
Well, that isn't one of your letters.
Whose is it?
It's a letter she wrote to the guy in Arizona.
From her?
Do you mind if I see what it says?
Wait, Homer, that letter wasn't meant to be read.
What do you mean it wasn't? It isn't even sealed. She said...
Now listen, Homer, give that to me.
Oh, boy.
Homer.
Oh, boy.
Homer.
Oh, boy.
Are you reading it all, Homer?
The whole thing's about you.
About me?
She says you're one of the nicest, sweetest boys she's ever known.
Who, me?
Henry, you're one of the nicest, sweetest boys she's ever known.
Now, wait, Homer, she said that about me? Well, gee whiz, can you imagine that?
Henry Aldrich will be back in just a moment. In the meanwhile, folks, a reminder of the double-barreled reason why you'll like Postum. For one thing, you'll like it if coffee upsets you. For another, you like it just because Postum tastes so swell. It's a grand, tempting drink for all the family. So get Postum from your grocer tomorrow.
No, Mother, I'm sure I don't feel well enough to go to school today.
But, Henry, you'll miss some very important work.
No, I won't, Mother. I won't miss a thing. All we were going to do today, anyhow, is read our English compositions in front of the class. And I never felt so low in my life.
Here is a popular Christmas suggestion. In addition to your other presents, give United States defense bonds and stamps. Make patriotism a part of your giving. The money you spend for defense bonds helps to resist tyranny and oppression, helps keep the spirit of Christmas alive in this country. So buy defense bonds and stamps, and keep on buying them for yourself and for your friends this Christmas. Be sure to listen again next week to the Aldrich Family, same time, same station, for another sparkling half hour with your favorite youngster, his family, and his pals. The Aldrich Family, starring Ezra Stone, is written by Clifford Goldsmith. Original music is composed and conducted by Jack Miller. This is Harry Von Zell saying, you will enjoy fragrant, flavorful Postum. And remember, Postum contains no stimulants. It cannot give you indigestion. Good night.